Improving your product descriptions is a cost-effective way to convert more of the traffic you already work so hard to attract. Until you are writing product descriptions that reliably convert shoppers again and again, I'd recommend you make that your priority before spending more of your budget on increasing traffic. 15 tips for writing product descriptions that customers can't resist. 1. Despite its name, copy is not to be copied. If you're selling another company's products, it's tempting to simply use their descriptions too. You'll save time, and you might reason, who can write a better description than the company that manufactures the product? I'd still encourage you to take the time to write your own. For one, it'll be nearly impossible to rank well if the bulk of your product page's copy is, well, copied. You're not going to be the only one who tries that, so your copy can no longer be a distinguishing feature for Google to consider when ranking your product page. 2. Highlight benefits over features. When you learn conversion copy, the first lesson is that you always emphasize benefits over features. Customers don't buy your products because of their features. They especially don't get excited about buying your products because of their features. What they want is what the features have to offer. It's the benefits those features convey that make them race to your checkout page, so make sure they get a starring role in your product descriptions. 3. Make exciting claims, but back them up with data. This is where a lot of copywriters fall short with their product descriptions. They do a great job of calling attention to the benefits of their products, but they don't use any data to bolster those claims. Explain your product's exciting benefits and then instill confidence in those claims by backing them up with data. 4. Don't forget why people really buy. We all like to think of ourselves as logical, rational, and reasonable. But the truth is that usually logic, rationale, and reason have little to do with our decisions, especially when it comes to our purchases. While we believe we're being quite logical before we click buy, nothing could be further from the truth. What then is moving our mouse to that buy button? Emotion. How do you know what emotional appeals will work best for your customers? I'm glad you asked. 5. Don't go overboard with your buyer personas yet. A buyer persona is a fictitious representation of one of your ideal customers. The idea is that the better you can describe this persona, the better you can write your product descriptions to win them over. At IWD, we create buyer personas for our clients, so I definitely understand their potential. It's just that, over the years, I've worked with a lot of marketers who spend a lot of time going into excruciating detail when designing their buyer personas. And then, because they're so invested in these personas, they refuse to budge from them. My takeaway from these experiences has been that, yes, buyer personas can be helpful, and yes, you should put serious effort into creating them. But if you nail down the following details, you'll easily create personas that lead to profitable product descriptions. What are the benefits they're after? What features will support this benefit? What tone of voice do they prefer? 6. Speak to your customers' pain points. If you want your product descriptions to trigger clicks, think about your customers' pain points. What brought your customer to your product page? David Sandler started his own sales training organization back in 1967, and many of his teachings are still embraced by copywriters today. One of them is the power of pain. Pain in the present is the most motivating buying emotion. People buy for their own emotional reasons and justify with logical reasons. The strongest motivation will be the avoidance of pain in the present. If your product or solution could help a prospect avoid the pain, you will have the sale. 7. Ask yourself, what do customers need to know to feel comfortable buying? Every customer has one pain point in common, regardless of what they're shopping for. This is the fear of buyer's remorse. Even if it's not a big purchase, no one likes feeling as though they just wasted their money. What we're talking about is how you can preempt that regret by using product descriptions to educate customers into feeling confident about their purchases. The more confident you make them, the more likely they are to buy. 8. Don't settle for boring words. Telling your customers that your product is superior won't get you very far if your description doesn't go on to explain why that is and why that matters. Nonetheless, some words are simply more powerful than others. Some words always do well with customers because they're immediately recognizable for offering value. A prime example of these magic words is you. People love it when you talk directly to them. The only word they enjoy hearing more than their own name is you. So slather it all over your product descriptions. You want your customers envisioning themselves using your product. Of course, there are plenty of other words that pack a punch. Here are just a handful of examples. 9. Give shoppers a great story. Another smart way to keep shoppers from feeling like they're being sold is to weave stories into your product descriptions. According to a paper published by Harvard Business Publishing Corporate Learning, stories are easy to remember. Organizational psychologist Peg Newhouser found that learning which stems from a well-told story is remembered more accurately and for far longer than learning derived from facts and figures. Similarly, psychologist Jerome Bruner's research suggests that facts are 20 times more likely to be remembered if they're part of a story. So if you know that your shoppers usually don't buy on their initial visit, telling them a story is an effective way to keep them thinking about your product long after they leave your website. You really can't tell a story without adopting a tone. By forcing yourself to do that, you automatically need to think about your customer and the kind of tone they'll relate to most. By doing that, you'll start to choose the kinds of familiar words that will make your product description stand out. 10. Make your copy easy to scan. The reason successful e-commerce copywriters keep their product descriptions nice and lean is that scannable content is an absolute must online. One of the most popular studies on how web users consume content concluded that, on the average web page, users have time to read at most 28% of the words during an average visit. 20% is more likely. Therefore, scannable copy is as important to your product descriptions as it is to any other aspect of your website. You may need to convey a lot of information, but that doesn't mean you can't make it easy to scan. 11. Format your product descriptions for how people view them. Our eyes are naturally drawn to certain parts of the page, so it makes sense to format your product descriptions with these tendencies in mind. The vast majority of product descriptions, at least the successful ones, have all taken on the same shape, an F. If you look at any of those Amazon examples above, you'll notice that the images are all on the left with copy and other important information starting closer to the middle of the page and ending on the right. This isn't by accident. It follows the natural F shape users scan when they're trying to quickly pull important information from a page. In fact, it's been proven that website visitors spend 80% of their time on the left half of web pages. Put your images there to lock in that attention, and you can then move it to the right for your copy. 12. Use the right media to stand out. There's no denying it. Beautiful, high-quality images steal the show. Optimize the media for your product descriptions to significantly increase sales. When I say media, I don't just mean photos. I'm talking about all of the visual assets and cues you can use to engage your shoppers. One example of the many ways you can optimize your visuals is by adding color to your product descriptions. Use multiple images to show your shoppers every angle of your product and any relevant photos of what it looks like in action. Your customers may read larger product descriptions, but you need to win them over with easily scannable copy and bullet points first. If product descriptions include high-quality images and videos, website visitors will assume this is a reputable, respectable business. That doesn't mean they'll become customers right away, but the company will have overcome a major barrier that most e-commerce companies face, earning trust. 13. Don't forget about Google and don't assume you know what your customers search for. I still highly recommend that you write your product descriptions with Google in mind. Even if you have another channel in place, SEO is the most cost-effective option for e-commerce companies, and it isn't even close. And yes, I'm aware that email has the highest ROI, but you still need a reliable channel to grow that list, now don't you? So optimize your descriptions for Google. No matter how great your other channels may be, at the very least, earning traffic from Google means taking it away from competitors, and who can pass up an opportunity like that? 14. Leverage the selling power of social proof. There's one more absolutely vital piece of information we need. Even though we may be loath to admit it, we really want to know what other people think. This is the driving force behind the psychological concept of social proof. In short, we tend to assume that if other people like something, we will too. Without a doubt, the easiest way to do this is with product reviews. Show shoppers that other people have made the same decisions that they're currently considering and that those customers were happy they did. 15. A/B test. My last piece of advice is to test every last one you implement. Every last one. Don't just use the photos that have always worked. Try another option and see if it improves your conversions. Don't even assume that your competitors have it right if they all stick to the same thing like shorter copy. Run an A/B test on one of your products with a longer description to see what happens. In short, test, and test some more. Please invest in A/B testing to make sure that your product descriptions work best for your unique market. Even if your initial changes are effective, testing could show you options for improving them even more. The most important thing is that you treat your product descriptions as a true priority. Give them as much attention as the other copy on your site, and your customers will too. And if you want any help with yours, feel free to contact us at hi@iwdagency.com. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it insightful, please give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.